Hey guys, what is up? It's your girl, Grace Tori, and I am back with a whole new podcast episode. Today we are going to be reading Am I Overreacting and judging if OP is justified in their actions or if they're being a little bit dramatic. Of course, however, these all will have updates and conclusions because anything on my channel will, for the most part. There's like one or two maybe videos where I don't do an update, but I can't sleep at night if I don't know how things end. You guys are the same way. So if you like updates, you're in the right place. You may hear that I'm a little sick, so I apologize for that. I'm going to do my best to keep reading, but yeah, you're not imagining things. I just sound a little funny because I'm sick. Before I jump in, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, follow. It means the absolute world to me. I love you guys so much. It takes like 0.2 seconds, and you will be truly like helping me reach like my dream. And that means the absolute world. Like, I don't take a single one of you for granted. So if you are on a platform where you're capable of following, which I'm pretty sure all platforms are, go ahead and hit that real quick if you're interested in hearing more stories from Reddit, from listeners, all the things. Without further ado, let's go ahead and jump on into today's episode. I'm Grace Tori, and you're listening to That Girl the Podcast. Grab a beverage of choice and settle in, because the new episode is starting now. Am I overreacting? My boyfriend secretly trolls women online, and it gave me the biggest ick. Not my dog's choosing right now to eat. Of all times. Okay. So first we'll read the original post. New account because I don't use Reddit and this is my first time posting. I, 25 female, have been with my boyfriend, 26 male, for 3 years and we live together. Overall, he's been sweet, funny, and kind. We argue sometimes, but nothing serious. He always told me he doesn't really use social media, just Snapchat. Or so I thought. Last night we were smoking and hanging out when he went to the gas station. While he was gone, I kept hearing a weird vibration / dinging noise. Eventually, I realized it was coming from under our dresser. What a weird place. Like, can we just say that? Under the dresser? Guys, they're evolving. They're getting more creative. I pulled out an iPad I had never seen before. It was covered in stickers from his video games, and the wallpaper was a picture of our dog, so it was clearly his. I had no idea he even owned an iPad. Once I got in, I saw nonstop notifications from Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Reddit, YouTube, literally everything. All the accounts were anonymous or spam looking, but they were all tied to his email. I'm going to pause for a second and say, is this new? Because it's kind of crazy that you've never noticed this until now. Like, did he just start hiding it there? I'm just trying to think of because I don't know. I feel like if I were in this situation and an iPad was going off, I would catch it like the first or second day just because I don't know, I pick up on that stuff really quickly. So I wonder if he had just moved it because 3 years, I don't know how long he's had it. I don't know how long you've lived together. But that's kind of a long time to keep it up. I started opening the notifications and I was honestly disgusted. He was commenting on women's bodies, saying they needed more makeup, body shaming them, leaving hateful comments on YouTube, and trolling people on Reddit with fake cringe stories. On Twitter and Instagram, he was constantly insulting people for no reason. Ugh. Throw him away. Throw him away. I've read all I need to read. But nothing prepared me for what I found next. Oh boy. I like to game and live stream with my friends a few times a week just for fun. For the past year, there's been this one account that always joins our stream and says the most racist and vile things, telling us we need more makeup, should dress sexier, insulting our looks, and sending us awful messages about how nobody would want to watch us looking like that. It got so bad that when we blocked the account, they would just make new ones. We eventually stopped streaming 6 months ago because of it. I almost filed a police report at one point. I realized last night it was my boyfriend. Dun dun dun. He has been trolling me and my friends the entire time. This wasn't just popping in and leaving. He would stay the entire live stream saying horrible personal things about us. I genuinely don't understand why someone would do this to their girlfriend. I thought our relationship was good. I haven't told him yet. I've been at my friend's house all day because I can't even look at him without feeling sick. This makes me think, is this like the guys who like get off on negging? I feel like this is beyond negging. But did you ever talk to him about it? Like, hey, I think I'm going to file a police report. And how did he react in those situations? Because this is insane. Like, if he genuinely just acted like he acted like he had nothing to do with it and he was like sympathetic. This man is a psychopath. I'm not diagnosing, but that's insane. Insane work. Am I overreacting if I break up with him over this? My friends think filing a restraining order is over the top and can ruin his career. No, you're not overreacting. I think that the fact that he did it to every woman makes it less about just you in general and more about this might be like a weird kink of his, just like getting off on like women feeling like shit because of him. So I would still file a restraining order. It's better to be safe than sorry. But from like a mental like safety perspective, I think that he just does this to every woman, which is disgusting. And yeah, you're not overreacting by breaking up with him at all. I would too. But even if you didn't find the stuff about you specifically, I would still break up with him because you don't want to be with anyone who has this type of mindset. Like, he's willing to put another person down. Gross. We don't like that. For context, I am a Black woman, and no, I'm not a stay-at-home. I do have a job that's part-time while still doing school. My boyfriend is biracial, Mexican, and white. My boyfriend is a full-time worker at a really nice, known, paid job. Before we dated, we had known each other since my freshman year of high school. I did take his iPad with me to my friend's house. We did more digging and found some other stuff that I have documented to take pictures of before the end of the day. I plan on returning the iPad back to where it was, but I do not think I could fake the relationship or leave quietly. Honestly, I think it's best if I just drop everything, leave, and make the police report. Also, I do plan on leaving him, but is the restraining order and police report too far? No, it's not. You're not ruining his career. Stop protecting him is number one. A restraining order does not impact someone's career as much as people think it does, unfortunately. It will not, like, ruin their life. Um, at least in my, like, in Kentucky where I am, and I don't know how that plays out in the rest of the US, but where I'm at, it really doesn't impact them. Like, they have a restraining order, but it, like, that's about as far as it goes. So either way, he's a disgusting person, and you don't need to be protecting this man. Um, so get the restraining order, file the police report. You have evidence. I don't know. Like, my thing is, police won't always listen because they won't. Often, I always say try and file because if nothing else, there's evidence of you trying. But in my experience and in a lot of women's experience near me, I don't know if this is just like my city, my county, but women will try and file and they won't do anything until the bad thing has already happened. Like, if someone is sending you notes and stalking you, they won't do anything until they've already, like, threatened your safety, which sometimes they won't even do anything until after they breached your safety in some way or, like, hurt you in some way. So it's always good to err on the side of caution. Try it, document it, and I will never ever tell you not to. That is what you need to do immediately. But I also don't want to, like, get your hopes up that this is gonna be resolved because, unfortunately, sometimes it's not. But on the flip side, it sounds like it's just, like, a weird fetish he has with women in general. So I think that you're pretty safe, but I would definitely get away from him while he's at work. Collect your things, have your friends help you move out, and don't look back. Relevant comments, plot twist, this is part of the trolling, NOR. In all seriousness, this is pretty effing messed up. Just leave. OOP said, trust me, I really wish it effing was. I truly wish this was all made up. I literally saw myself with this man for the rest of my life, and now I can't even read the comments without tearing up over the stranger I was living with. I'm so sorry. And the fact that you are streaming, like, that is a viable income for a lot of people. And guys, I don't know if you knew this, but streaming is where you make a lot, like, probably the most money. You know, T-Pain makes more money streaming than he ever did on his music career. Just to give you a heads up, he said that himself. So yeah, streaming is a viable career path, just like YouTube or whatever. People don't really take it seriously because it's not like any career path where you start out in, like, an entry-level position where you're making money, but it's probably not as much. Like, you're gonna go a long time without making money. I, to be quite honest with you, didn't make a single cent on this account that I've had for 4 years. I've been on YouTube for 12 years total. I didn't make a dime from YouTube until my first check may be coming this month. And it's not a lot. Like, maybe we'll pay one bill. So it's the long game, but it is a viable income career, or it is a viable career, a viable income. You just have to play the long game. And so a lot of people don't take it seriously. I don't want this to discourage you from streaming. If it's something you enjoy, you have fun with, and it's a way that you connect with your friends. I had a stalker that I know still is watching me, and it hasn't deterred me because, like, you do all you can do, but you can't hide. So I want to say that you still need to live your life. You have a whole life ahead of you. You're going to find someone who respects you, who encourages you to stream and do all the things you love doing. And that's all that matters. But there is a couple more questions, a couple more updates. So we're going to dive into those. Someone asked how OOP got access to the iPad if it was password protected and seeing all the details while her boyfriend went to the gas station. And OOP said, well, I didn't add it because I didn't think it was really necessary information. Yeah, there was a password. It was our dog's birthday. It took me 5 minutes to figure it out. And yeah, our gas station is 10 minutes from us. The man was high and shopping for snacks in a gas station at 1 a.m. LOL. Yeah, that's one thing is me and my boyfriend have been together for 5 years. I know all of his passwords. Literally, I'll, like, go on to, like, what is that website? Bid something like that, where it's like an auction house. And I knew he had an account, and I was like, let's just see if I can log in. First try logged in. Like, when you're with someone that long, you just know their passwords. He does the same thing to me, and if he doesn't know, like, it's like 1 of 3. He got it. It's if I ever, like, had to go into, like, the ER or something and they needed my password, he wouldn't be able to figure it out. It's like a safety thing, but it's also like we've been together that long. Normalize giving your partners your password. It's okay to have password protected things. But, like, I mean, I got his password because I wanted to change the Spotify song to, like, a completely different, like, album or something. Like, 2 weeks into us dating, he's like, oh yeah, this is my password. Like, it doesn't have to be like this big conversation. When you're comfortable with someone, you just do stuff like that without even thinking about it. So let's read the update. First, I want to thank everyone who commented and messaged me with advice. I really didn't expect my original post to blow up so fast, and I appreciate the support more than I can explain. Before the update, I want to clarify a few things people kept asking about. After I took the iPad to my friend's house, we found even more than I originally mentioned. He had active Tinder and Bumble accounts and had been cheating on me. Okay, why were we even questioning if we should stay with this man? You shouldn't. Like, full stop after one of these incidents, you should have left. All of them combined together, he is a psycho. As for the Reddit accounts, he wasn't asking for advice or posting about his own problems. He was posting fake, spicy, sexy stories and fantasies across different NSW subreddits. I knew it. I called it. I feel like all of this is like a weird fetish that he has. Not confirming, but it's going in that direction. Also, no, he does not work around women. His job is in a very male-dominated environment. Now on to what happened next. As you probably guessed, he realized I had the iPad before the end of his workday. He started texting me asking if I was okay, if something was wrong, acting overly normal. I acted nonchalant and didn't confront him yet. 2 hours after he would have been home from work, after he completely spiraled. He started blowing up my phone, accusing me of stealing his iPad, demanding I bring back his property, and saying he knew I had it because I'd been changing passwords and profile pictures. Wait, how did he know? Did he just have like a sixth sense? Like, he said 2 hours after he would have been home from work. So did you, like, leave and take the iPad with you? Am I missing something? My brain is just not firing on all cylinders because I'm sick. So we're just going to keep reading, but I'm low-key confused. I stayed the night at my friend's house. At this point, his reaction told me everything. He didn't care about what he'd done. He'd just been exposed. The next day, I went back to the apartment with 3 friends who waited in the hallway. As soon as I walked in, he started apologizing, but only for cheating. That's when I realized he still didn't know that I knew about the trolling. How did he not know? Dummy. There was a girl he'd been talking to on Snapchat and seeing from Tinder. Seeing?
You want to run that by me again?
I had already messaged her to let her know he had a long-term girlfriend and had been lying. She had contacted him while he was at work, so he assumed that that was the only reason I was leaving. I would have waited to do that just for your own safety. Or not even do it at all. It would be nice to let her know, and, like, I guess it's her safety too, but I would have, like, figured out her Instagram and messaged her after I'd already left so that you were safe, because you never know how he's gonna react. I told him cheating was unforgivable and that I was done. While I packed my things, he had the audacity to tell me that when I was ready to deal with my insecurities and apologize, the door would be open.
You serious?
The fuck? I was effing pissed, but I wasn't in the headspace to argue, so I grabbed my stuff and left. Later, my friends and I decided to go live just to see what would happen. Almost immediately, the same troll account joined the stream and started talking trash. We laughed and said out loud that we knew it was him. The account left right away. About 10 minutes later, he texted and called me from an unknown number, yelling and calling me names, accusing me of harassment and making serious accusations. After I sent him the link to her Reddit post, I left staying with a friend. The next morning, I decided to go to my apartment to talk to him. Girl, no, this is so unsafe. Guys, if you are listening, just like from a safety standpoint, don't tell him that you know. Tell the police so that they can handle it with him. Don't go talk to him after you confronted him. As a woman, you want to like take the very like 2026 approach of like, I can confront him. Women are just as powerful as men. I got this. Da, 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 da. But like, if you're going and confronting this big, scary man physically, he probably can take you down and he's not afraid to. And obviously, he's mentally not in a good spot. So he could be willing to do things that you would never, ever imagine he would do. Like, even if you think to yourself, he would never hurt me. This sounds like someone who is quite literally deranged. So don't do this. I'm not blaming you at all. I am really like on your side. I am just saying for people who are reading this, this is not good advice, or people who are listening to this. Girly, I hopefully you are out of this situation. We're gonna keep reading and find out. But for the future, never confront them. Like, obviously, this isn't very black and white, but definitely if there's a chance of you being in danger and it's more than like a lover's quarrel where you're just breaking up, I would never ever do this. When I finally confronted him about the trolling, he broke down crying and admitted
We interrupt our program to
force the dogs to quit their freaking shenanigans. Jesus Christ. Luna, can you let Rip come in here? Come here. Are we good now? Place. You want up here? Here. Hey, be nice. Be nice to him. Are we good? Luna J. Don't be grumpy gills. Do not be grumpy gills.
And now back to your regularly scheduled program.
When I finally confronted him about the trolling, he broke down crying and admitted why he did it. He told me he'd gained some weight, felt insecure, and wanted to knock me down a few notches because after therapy and recovering from a knee injury, I'd gained my confidence again. Maybe he should consider therapy so that he can deal with that instead of bringing you down. He said I was acting like a hot shit and needed to be reminded that we were in the same league and to chill the F out because he could find any girl that looks like me, if not better. Yeah, this man needs to grow up, among other things. He should never ever feel like he needs to knock you down a few pegs. He needs to knock his way over to therapy. Like, go. Skedaddle. Because saying that you are acting a little too, like, high and mighty, like, he should want you to be confident, guys. Like, he should, like, want to show you off and be like, yes, like, that's my girl. Like, she's finally feeling good about herself. He shouldn't want you to be knocked down. That's not good. With help from my family, I was able to pay to get my name off the lease. I'm now staying with a friend. He has already moved in with the girl from Tinder, female 19. Oh no, she's such a baby. Wait. You're 25, he's 26, and she's 19. I'm so scared for her because, like, this is only gonna escalate, and she's younger, so he's gonna be able to manipulate. I'm so stressed for her. I would definitely try and get a restraining order and file a police report for her sake because he's gonna keep doing this. And I just, like, young and impressionable, like, if you're watching this and you're 19, I know that you feel like you are 30 and you've got it all figured out, but trust me, this is your time to make mistakes because you don't have it all figured out. I'm 27 and I don't have it all figured out, but you are a little bit more impressionable 99% of the time in general. So that's concerning. That's where things stand. Everything is documented. I'm no longer living with him and I'm moving on. Thank you again for all the advice. Wish I could say this was some huge exciting ending, but there you have it. And yes, I'm going to still try to get the restraining order. The police literally called this a ridiculous situation. So we're choosing to let bygones be bygones. At least it's documented. I hope they at least did a report. Like, you need to make sure. When I was trying to get a restraining order, this was crazy. So we had a crazy roommate. One day I will tell that story. But she was literally insane, and she was constantly, like, harassing me and my best friend because we all lived together. And I had to literally call the police over the littlest things because they, like, told us to. They were like, we don't have enough evidence to do anything, but keep calling us. So she did something, like, she stole, like, our toilet paper and, like, some of our stuff because she had moved somewhere else, but she kept coming back and stealing things. And so I literally filed a police report because she stole, like, our toiletries. And I would not have done that if they hadn't told me to do that. So I literally, and he came and I'm like, I'm so sorry, but the cops told me I'm not taking this seriously and I need to document everything. So I called you out here today because she stole my toilet paper. Like, and I know, guys, she did crazier shit. Like, she had her dad come and he threatened to beat up, like, my friend who's, like, 5'4". So, like, she screamed at me and screamed at all these things. Her mom screamed at me on the phone, all these things that were not true, like threats, all this crazy, crazy stuff. So this is not even about the toilet paper. That was just, like, icing on the cake. But we later found out that, fun fact, so when you follow a restraining order, it immediately usually goes towards, like, the domestic violence if you live with them. And she was my roommate for 2.5 years. So we had lived together for a long time, at that point. So they immediately kind of, like, filtered it into, like, the domestic violence situation. I had previously had to get a restraining order against a boyfriend who was, like, stalking me, like, leaving notes on my car, like, threatening things. And that had also gone into the domestic violence thing, even though he lived, like, an hour and a half away. So I just followed, like, the funnel that they told me to go down when they finally told us we could get a restraining order. So I get the restraining order, I go to the courts, I show up, and they're like, "Were you guys dating?" And I was like, "No, we were just roommates, but we lived together for 2.5 years." Guys, because we weren't dating, it wasn't considered, like, a domestic violence situation. Like, we had to be dating or, like, related for it to count. Roommates are not considered. So it became like a civil matter, which, again, this varies state to state, possibly, I don't think it varies county to county, but because of that, they're like, "You're gonna have to start over and, like, go through the civil whatever," and I'm like, "Why did no one tell me this when I was calling people out to, like, document everything? Like, you guys totally told me the wrong thing." So at that point, we just dropped it because she had moved, like, literally, like, right after that, she moved somewhere. She dropped out of school and, like, moved home or something. I don't even know. I don't really care. Like, we weren't really keeping tabs. But, yeah, it was a huge thing, and it really, really frustrated me because, like, when you're having your dad come, who you had told stories about how unhinged this man was, and he's just threatening little girls, like, we were 21-year-old girls, over, like, I think that her Netflix had got logged out of, and it was neither of us. At this point, I was sitting at my boyfriend's house every day, and my best friend was, like, living at her college, basically, because we were afraid to be around this person. He threatened to, like, beat her up over this. So, yeah, long story short, do your own research, because what they say is not always correct, I guess. Like, always lean on them and do what they say. Your first step should always be a police report, try and do a restraining order, but also do your own research because, like, I think that they don't really have anything to do with civil matters, or they can't really, I don't know. It's very complex and you definitely need to, like, do some Googling because, yeah, I feel like there's a lot of loopholes in the law which works to your favor, but it also doesn't in certain situations, so it's really good to know them. So let's read a couple of the relevant comments. Commenter 1 said, "Glad you're out. Lord have mercy on that barely adult he moved in. However, you told her what she was getting into and she said yes anyway. I'm not terribly surprised the police turned down the restraining order. Keep all of your evidence and document any further attempts he made to contact you or interfere with your life. Hopefully he realizes he's already lost and leaves you alone." Comment 2 said, "I really hope OP shared the screenshots with this poor girl, though, and shared more details than just he has a long-term girlfriend. Not that this girl's well-being is OP's responsibility in the slightest. However, I do wonder if she would have pursued a relationship with this POS if she knew the entire story." And OOP did say, "Yes, I did." Okay, good. "When I contacted her, I showed her proof and everything. She even apologized for having to deal with that and even advised me to move on." That's just such a 19-year-old thing. But that is the last update. I hope that you are doing well. I hope that everything has calmed down, and I hope that the 19-year-old got out. And if you're watching this right now, because I think this was posted fairly recently, the update was posted January 17th, 2026. I hope that you're out of that. If you're watching this, please get out of that. That's not safe. You will find someone who is so much better. And yeah. Am I overreacting that my boyfriend got another woman's number? Am I overreacting that my 24 female boyfriend, Jack, 26 male, got another woman's number when he went to the grocery store? For some background, Jack and I have been together off and on for nearly 6 years. We have a 2-year-old child together. We've been off and on because he's cheated on me multiple different occasions. We split after about 3 years because he cheated. I, stupidly, hooked up with him while we split and ended up pregnant. Decided to try and work that out, got cheated on while pregnant, and then again after our child was about 2 months old. I left him because he introduced our child to his side piece, who knew about me.
Did he choose you? No, he didn't. What's not clicking? What's not clicking?
Okay. I stayed with family for a while and ended up moving back in with him for the financial physical help from him. He was angry when I left him and decided that if he refused to help me with the baby, I'd have to come back, and I'm not proud to admit that it worked. Now I've been together with him for roughly a year, and he's been doing better. Really bare minimum in a relationship, which is not cheating. He's a great father to our child. This is hard, but I think that you should always be working towards being financially independent. You guys know my stance on this. My mom stayed in a relationship way longer than she should have because she had been conditioned to think that she was not capable of being financially independent. She had married someone instead of finishing her college degree. She ended up actually graduating with her degree the same year I got my master's, so that was really fun, and she's doing way better now. But because I was raised watching that, I have a deep-rooted trauma/motivation that all women should be able to provide for themselves. It's not always about cheating. It's not always about divorce. Your husband could pass away tomorrow. You never know, and you need to be able to support yourself. I'm not blaming you at all, but I really hope that you are starting to save up funds where you can and make these decisions so that you could eventually support yourself. And just thinking about what that may look like, it doesn't always look like getting a degree. Sometimes it's just posting on TikTok and like growing that way, or posting on YouTube and growing that way. Like, it doesn't always take 4 years. Sometimes it takes 10 years. Sometimes it takes 6 months. But, it doesn't even look like that either. It could be getting a job starting like lower on the chain, maybe as a cashier, working your way up to a manager. There are so many ways you could do this. Selling stuff online, like Facebook Marketplace, crafts or whatever. There are so many ways you can make money. Not that all of them happen overnight, but there's ways that we can stash money away for a rainy day. And that rainy day may be when you need to stand on your own 2 feet and not rely on him or for anything. It gets a little bit more difficult when you have a kid, because then you have to worry about, child support and everything. But you have to just be strong enough to divide the line. Like you said, he's a great father, so at least you don't really have to worry about your child. But then they are growing up watching you be okay with these situations, and they're going to use that in their own life when they're older. So you want them to see a healthy relationship. The other night, I woke up in the middle of the night and had a gut feeling to check his phone, so I did. When I unlocked it, he had an unsaved number in his phone. I looked through the messages. They had begun messaging a few days before. There wasn't anything crazy in there. In my opinion, a little bit of flirting, but not outright cheating. There was comments of the woman saying, "Oh my goodness, it's past my bedtime. You're keeping me up all night." And him responding, "Don't go to sleep. Stay up with me." And him teasing her about having a big forehead and having her send him a comparison photo of how many fingers her big forehead was. Don't like that. That's weird. As I said, nothing crazy, but enough to know what it is the beginning of. I messaged the woman from my phone. She basically said we exchanged numbers. He mentioned he had a child, but didn't mention a girlfriend. And she said she asked him if he was married, which he said no to. We aren't married, but when he introduces me to other men, he introduces me as his wife. When I confronted him, he claimed he never claimed to be single, that he should be allowed to have female friends. He's upset and claims to be walking on eggshells around me. I'm upset and I'm currently trying to get my own apartment. He's very upset. I'm considering leaving. So Reddit, do you guys think I'm overreacting? Okay. Men do this thing and it pisses me off so much. They'll introduce you as their wife or their fiance, or things where like society thinks that you should be at a certain point in your like relationship, like you should have reached these certain milestones, and men will introduce you that way to kind of remove the like embarrassment or societal pressure of needing to take these steps because they don't want to take them, but they don't want the pressure of it. So they'll straight up lie. And we need to stop being okay with that. Like, there are certain situations when my boyfriend and I were getting our first house, we were 22 and 23, and no one took us seriously when we said boyfriend and girlfriend. So we started saying we were each other's fiance. And like, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Now, if he was telling his friends, "This is my fiance," or even his work friends, I would be a little pissed off because I'm like, no, I'm not. And I've said that before. He's introduced me that way before, and I called him out real quick, and guess what? He hasn't done it since. Because yeah, there's times where I think it's totally fine because it's like we are young and we've worked our butts off to get to where we are, and people try to take away from that because we haven't done this one thing that they feel like we should do, even though we've like done everything else. When it gets to like friends and stuff, and it's like, okay, there's literally no excuse for this. Call them out. Normalize calling them out. Here's some relevant comments. Someone did ask for additional information from OOP in the comments, and she said, I'm going to tour and apply for an apartment today. And responding to all the why have you stayed comments, I haven't been financially stable enough to live on my own. Staying with family did not work out. I'm currently going to school for my bachelor's degree, and the plan was to dip out once I got that degree. I'm tired of pretending with him, but just wanted to, I guess, validation that I'm not overreacting by telling him I'm going to leave. Guys, I called it. I'm so sad with how many women are in relationships simply because they're not financially stable enough to do it on their own. If this podcast like ever gets to the point where I make like a stable amount on it, I promise you right now, I will start a nonprofit that helps women get financially stable so that they can leave these relationships. That's how passionate I am about it. I'm not joking right now. I will make that pledge right now. I will stick to that. I'm that person that will be handing out money so that people can leave situations. Because it's not just like, if you're not in a super violent domestic situation, it's not always that. Like, it's not always black and white. I think that women have a tendency to say, yeah, if I'm not in like the most violent situation or the most extreme situation, I am not like a victim. And we need to stop that. Like when I went through a situation with my ex where he stalked me and I ended up having a restraining order, I always looked at it like I'm not really allowed to talk about it because like I'm fine. Like, yes, emotionally and like mentally I'm pretty effed up from it, but I'm alive and like he never like tried to hurt me, and that's saying a lot compared to how it's ended for other women. But when I was with my friend one day, she goes, "Yeah, I know you were in like an abusive situation with like a partner." And when she put it in that terms, I was like, "Wait, I'm allowed, like, I'm justified in saying that. I feel like since I turned out okay." And we had this great conversation about how, as a woman, when things don't end up as bad as they could have, we try to say, like, well, it could be worse, so we don't have the right to say anything. But that's not true. Like, if you are being mistreated in any way, shape, or form, you do not deserve that. You deserve better. And you don't have to wait until it gets so, so bad. So this episode is getting pretty deep. It's not as like hee hee ha ha. I'm trying to keep a good balance, but I didn't realize all of these would be so scary. And I am serious, guys. Like, I want you to know that resources are out there. I know it feels scary. If you are anywhere near Central Kentucky, Greenhouse 17 works with domestic violence. They help women get back on their feet. They literally have a farm where you can live with your children, and they like sell products to the general public to help women get back on their feet. The Nest offers lawyers for free, which is also in Lexington, and they have clothing, they have a daycare, they have supplies like baby stuff, and then food. My sorority, the Nest, was one of our philanthropies, so they're near and dear to my heart. Greenhouse 17, I am also aware of, and they're near and dear to my heart. These are resources that you may have near you, so take a moment to, if you are in a situation where you feel like you need to consider leaving, but financially you're not able to, look at what's out there, because I promise you there are people who are willing to help. And I think that everyone is so jaded right now, and we feel like it's us against the world and no one's out there to help us, and we're all just gonna like crash and burn. But there are people out there willing to help. You just have to look for them. So there is a light at the end of the tunnel. But let's go ahead and read the update. Update number 1. Small update, we'll probably do a proper and bigger one later. A few weeks ago, before all this happened, I requested rodeo tickets from my job for Jack and I to go together. Thought it would be a cute, fun date. I now don't want to go and thought about having a friend with me, but I decided to reach out to the woman from the grocery and offered the tickets to her. She was happy and took them, and also let me know that she was sorry, and if I had any more questions to let her know. I felt good about that. Wait, okay, so you invited the girl he was cheating with, which, power to you. I know a lot of people that end up being friends with their, like, the girls that they cheated with. Interesting. Anyways, I've applied to an apartment and waiting to hear back. Should be moving out by the end of this month, and grocery store woman congratulated me for that. We are meeting up in person so I could give her the tickets, and she was an angel. Oh, so you gave her both of the tickets. Wow, you are such a kind-hearted person. Wow. So she shared messages of her with the manager. Basically, she just said, hey, I can be there in like 30 minutes. And then the manager was like, I've got your stuff ready for approval. And then the next day, OOP reached out and said, is there anything else I need to do? And manager said, hey, I understand, because OOP apologized for being impatient, and they said, you have to wait the process out. There's a 48-hour turnaround for compliance. A response is not expected until Monday, since your paperwork was submitted yesterday. I'll update you as necessary. I've received all 5 of your rentals back, so once your paperwork is approved by our compliance department, your paperwork will be submitted for final assessment by management. Yeah, like I said, if you're in a dire situation, there are resources out there that you can go to. Even if they're not in your city, hopefully there's some in like every state that can help you out where you have a place to stay if you need it. It doesn't sound like you're really in one of those dire situations. You're just with someone you don't want to be with because they're cheating, which is pretty awful emotionally to go through. But if you ever feel like you're desperate, they do exist. So here's a proper update. It's been about 2 weeks since I found out about all this. It's been going okay. I reached out to the grocery store woman and I told her thank you for talking to me and letting me know what was going on. I gave her tickets to a Lizzo concert Jack and I were going to go to together. Dang, you and Jack are missing out on some fun events. Like, dang. I mean, Jack deserves it, but I wish that you could have gone with someone else, but I also understand. We met in person and I found out she lives in our apartment complex. Crazy. She told me she was sorry and she told me to run away from Jack. Anyways, she's a very sweet angel. Over the last few weeks, I've been apartment hunting, trying to find a second chance apartment, and I found it. I found a 1-bedroom apartment that I'll be able to afford, barely, but that's okay. I'm moving next Friday, March 20th. I told Jack last night. He didn't understand why I'm doing this, which I don't care. I basically told him this isn't working. He said he loved me and didn't want me to go. I told him, 1, you don't love me because look at how I've been treated, and 2, if you do love me and this is the way you show love, I don't want it. Pop off. So maybe I'll post an update once I actually move. I don't know, but I'm very excited for this change. So she did write a letter to Jack, and it says, Jack, I'm writing this before we've actually sat down and had this conversation, so I'm sorry if some of this ends up being repeated. I'm leaving. I found an apartment and I'm going to start over. This is something I need to do for myself. I can't keep sitting around patiently waiting for you to change. I need to come to terms with the fact that I deserve better in a relationship than what I've been given, and you need to work on yourself as well. You can't keep blaming your mother for the choices you make in your relationships or for your commitment issues. Those are things only you have control over, and only you can fix them. I'm done trying to fix them for you. I'm exhausted in this relationship. I'm tired of wondering when I will be the only woman in your life. Living that way isn't fair to me, and I can't keep doing it. I do want to thank you for something that will always matter to me. You helped give me our son, and you were the one who talked me into making a decision I would have regretted forever. Because of that, we have our son. You will always be the man who gave our son to me, and most importantly, you will always be his father. I'll never take that away from you, and I'll never let anyone replace you in that role. I'm scared to start over. I'm scared of how you're going to react. I really don't want things to turn into what they were before. You using our son as a way to make me come back. I need you to understand that this time that will not work. The truth is, you and I are not right for each other. We've been forcing something for years and that isn't working. And I'm tired. I genuinely hope that we both change for the better. I hope that I can heal from pain and trauma this relationship has caused me. And I hope you take this time to reflect and grow from this as well. Moving forward, I want to focus on being good parents for our son. He deserves to grow up with both of us, loving him and supporting him, even if we are no longer together. I want him to have a peaceful and stable life, and that's what this decision is about. I truly hope one day you understand why I have to do this. Me. This is such a good letter. I think that a lot of times we're scared to say things to people's face, and letters are a great way to just get it all out. I think that a canon of it we all have to kind of go through, because you can hear it all you want, but until you go through it, you're not necessarily going to listen, is to stop falling in love with people's potential.
Go ahead. Make a fool of yourself. Then maybe you'll listen to your conscience.
And start falling in love with who they are. Like, if they never changed for the rest of their life, would you be okay with that? If they never decided to, they can talk about one day I want to be the CEO of a company, da 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 da. But if that never happens, would you be okay with them? Obviously, like, if you're young and they're in college, like, I'm not talking about, like, oh, if they lived in a college apartment forever, like, da da da, like, there's some sort of evidence, like student loans or whatever, that they have a commitment to this. But if they're just like blowing smoke and it's stuff that you might never see the end of, like, oh, I'm going to start doing this around the house, or oh, one day I'm going to do this. And they just keep saying that, and they don't even say it. And you can see that they're ambitious. You can see that if they just got over this, then they would be great. That's great, but you can't fix them. You're not put on this earth to be responsible for them. I think that we all just need to stop falling in love with people's potential, and I'm glad that you're leaving. Top relevant comment. I love it when a plan comes together. You'll be so much happier. Also, get that cheating SOB on child support and file for full legal and physical custody. I encourage you to work out a visitation agreement with him that you can file with the court. It's easier than having the court dictate it. OLP said, so I brought in a court last year. We have visitation set, but I had already moved back in with him, so child support was set to 0. I'm primary parent and he gets visitation rights. I called the child support office and they told me I have to wait 3 years to make a modification to the agreement. I explained the situation, was told they'd leave notes explaining everything for my caseworker, and she'd call me sometime next week. Child support would definitely help, but I'm glad I have the custodial order. Yeah, there has to be some sort of way to adjust child support if there's a huge change in, like, moving or something like that, because there's just no way. A lot can change in 3 years. Pumpter 2 said, I don't know what state you live in, but child support modifications can be reapplied for at any time within the 3-year period if circumstances change. Exactly. Check your state laws, and if they confirm you can reapply, go back to the office with the documentation and request they process your application. Every penny counts when you have a child to raise. Don't let him off the hook with his responsibilities. OOP said, that's the impression I was under. I'm in Texas. I'm waiting for my caseworker to call me. Ooh. I don't know. Texas's politics are pretty whack. So maybe if there's a state where you wouldn't get child support, it would probably be Texas. Sorry, if you live in Texas and you love it, good on you. I just know from a political standpoint, they're a little bit more conservative and less like pro women. But that's about the extent of what I know. So I'm happy to always talk about it respectfully in the comments if you want to talk about it and have a respectful discourse. Because yeah, I'm always happy to learn something new, talk to you, learn about it, do some research. Like 110%, I love that kind of stuff. I love to be proven wrong. But if you come at me sideways and you're like rude, we're not gonna have that conversation because we ain't got time for that. Like, respect is everything. But yeah, I feel like I can't talk anymore. I had 3 more stories, but I just don't have the strength. So they'll probably be on Sunday's episode. I'm thinking they're a little bit more lighthearted. Hopefully. So sorry this one was a little bit, not my dog digging behind me, Luna. Sorry this one was a little bit more serious. Hopefully you still enjoyed it. Hopefully you listened to like the tips that I provided. I hope none of you are ever in a bad situation like this. But if you are, it's important to know what steps to take, especially because it's becoming increasingly more common, at least here in the United States. So always reach out to me if you need me. I know I'm all the way in Kentucky and I'm just a girl with like 3 jobs and a cold apparently. But I will always be there, even if it's just for, like, emotional support. I'm happy to talk you through things. I'm happy to talk to you about anything. You're never alone. Shoot me an email, shoot me an Instagram message, but it might go to my request, so you might need to, like, comment and be like, hey, I sent you a DM, and then I'll check it. But yeah, I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for sticking around. I'm sorry I sound like a teenage boy. I'm really doing my best out here. We should be better now. We should be caught up, and then moving forward, hopefully I get some rest and everything is just smooth sailing. But yeah, I hope you guys have had a great week. I upload every single Sunday and Wednesday. If you like stories, all kinds of Reddit stories, we're talking mother-in-laws, we're talking brides, we're talking besties, we're talking cheaters, all the things that you guys enjoy. Definitely give us a follow, give us a like, give us all the things. If you're on YouTube, don't forget to hype. I'm looking at you. It's free. It takes 0.2 seconds. I think you can only hype for the first week that the video is out. But I just unlocked that new feature, and literally just clicking the hype button pushes the video like up. It pushes it up so much to like the top, and then more people see it, and then I'm able to like help more of you. I'm very serious about this nonprofit. Like, actually, my wheels are turning, my little entrepreneurial wheels. I just don't have the money for it right now. But once I have the money for it, I will do that. That's like on my list of businesses I'm going to start, which it's a nonprofit, so I don't know if it's necessarily a business. But I love you guys so, so much. I hope you have the best day ever, and I'll catch you later. Bye. Love you.
You was the first